Poliwrath into Dialga, the opponent probably thinking, why is this on my screen in the Open Master League? The opponent farm up some energy, switch out into Kyogre and Trainer. That is no response as Poliwrath is core breaking. Welcome back to the channel. I'm sure by now you already know that Poliwrath is very OP in both the Great and the Ultra League. However, today we're going to see a 100% perfect 15-15-15 Shadow Poliwrath take on the Open Master League. Today's featured battler, Turbo T612, is flexing hard. Not only does he have a perfect IV Shadow Poliwrath, we've also got a perfect IV Shadow Snorlax on the Say Switch. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see a David versus Goliath matchup. Poliwrath, sub 3000 CP, facing off against this meta monster in the form of Garchomp with a 50% higher stat product. But undeterred, Poliwrath fires off the Icy Wind, which is double super effective, forcing a protection with NC Turbo Say Switch into the big thick boy, channel favourite Shadow Snorlax. The opponent respond with Mewtwo, which is by no means a good response, especially down a Protect Shield. The opponent goes straight for the Side Strike, and this is why I call it the big thick boy, because Snorlax, despite being a shadow, has very good bulk. We withstand the damage, return fire with Body Slam, number 2 securing the knockout. The opponent sends back out Garchomp, the big thick boy living up to its name, refusing to die, reaches one departing Body Slam, leaving Garchomp in the red. We send out Togekiss, which is the absolute wall to Garchomp. We're only actually using Togekiss for the very first battle, and I'm very grateful for that, because I absolutely hate Togekiss. It's a mon. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know I call Togepiss. Sorry, not sorry. Turbo resets his debuff, pivots back out into Poliwrath, correctly shields up the Precipice Blades, forces the opponent's final protection with the Icy Wind, permanently debuffing this shiny Groudon. If the opponent throws a Fire Punch, we might survive. We do survive the Fire Punch, but unfortunately get Mudshot farmed down. So Poliwrath isn't going to be a Groudon counter confirmed. Well, at least not in battle number 1. I have zero idea why the opponent is playing this out. They send back out Garchomp, which dies to one charm. Togekiss going to do what Togekiss does best. Tap, tap, charm down, farm down everything. And we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, Poliwrath looking like a lamb to the slaughter. Poliwrath not particularly good into any psychic type, especially not when you're giving away 1,800 combat power. We see the instant pivot into Excadrill. The opponent look for the chip and dip, or at least I thought, but this opponent actually opts to stay in. Excadrill also not a fan of tanking Side Strikes, despite it being resisted. It still does over half our HP. Turbo looking to invest the Protect Shield, looking to lower this health of Mewtwo. You see it over farms. One before the opponent reaches the next Side Strike, wanting to get off some damage, which we do. The opponent looks to dump energy, and Mewtwo is going to take the knockout. However, we have now put this into a range where Snorlax is going to be able to handle it. This Mewtwo is now completely energized. Can Snorlax get the lick farm down before the next Side Strike? Oof. The opponent on minimal HP, make a departing Side Strike. We see Turbo invest that first Protect Shield, looking to keep some health on Snorlax. The opponent now send out Melmetal. Turbo gonna fire off the superpower and likely dip into Poliwrath's superpower, goes unshielded, and here comes Poliwrath. The opponent is gonna have to throw the superpower to do any meaningful damage. To my surprise, Poliwrath actually tanks that reasonably well. The opponent then pivot out into their own fluffy fucking cloud known as Togepiss. We fire off the Icy Wind, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and my god, does the big thick boy have a lot of work ahead of it. We really need to hope this opponent's running Ancient Power and Flamethrower, because if the opponent has Aura Sphere, it's going to be game over. Moment of truth. The opponent farm up to a potential Aura Sphere, and they've got it. The big thick boy does withstand the damage. However, we haven't got enough in the tank to take that game, and the opponent takes the dub. GG's. Moving on to the next one. Holy, another Togekiss. We see the instant pivot into big boy out here, looking for redemption. The opponent farm up some energy and then switch out into Mewtwo, giving us a huge energy lead. Turbo now looking primed to take back Switch, and if we get Switch, that Togekiss will be aligned with Excadrill. Snorlax fires off back-to-back Body Slams, forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent only go for a Side Strike. Snorlax withstands the damage. We're left deep in the red. However, we should be able to shield this next move up. Look to force the opponent's final protection or take Switch. That's exactly what we see Turbo do. Turbo thought about lick farming down, have a Snorlax running out of HP. We fire off the Body Slam, and just like that, the big thick boy takes back Switch. This very annoying Charmer is now aligned against Excadrill. The opponent pivots out into Kyogre, and Kyogre is greeted with Poliwrath. The opponent goes straight for the Surf. We might be sub 3000 CP, however Poliwrath withstands the damage, returns fire with the Scald. Scald forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Poliwrath looking to get this thing as low as possible. Turbo going to invest his final Protect Shield, looking to get this bulky blue whale out of here. We throw 4 counters and the next Scald for optimal fast move timing. Is Scald enough to knock out? No, it's not, but we do manage to counter Farm Down. Back out comes Togekiss. They get the Charm Down, Farm Down. We send back out Excadrill. We're going to need 2 Rock Slides to secure the knockout. The first Rock Slide gets them down to around 30% health. The opponent's only thrown 8. Trainer, what are you doing? All you had to do was farm up 2 potential Flamethrower or Aura Spear. The opponent threw the Ancient Power for no reason whatsoever. Turbo says, thank you very much, and we take the dub. Poliwrath Dragonite, despite having access to Icy Wind, that would hit Dragonite's Dragon Flying typing for double super effective. With 0 energy and 2 Protect Shields in play, that isn't the best matchup, so we see Turbo pivot into the big thick boy, forcing himself early shield advantage. He then calls the bait like an absolute savage. The opponent then make a catch of Body Slam number 2 onto Mamoswine. Looks like the opponent wants to keep this Mammoth away from Poliwrath before Poliwrath makes it extinct once again. The opponent looks for the full Powder Snow Farm Down. Holy cow, Snorlax's Bolt coming in clutch, taking back Switch once again. We see Turbo spamming the Switch, pivoting out into Excadrill, saving Snorlax as a potential third shield, and Excadrill is now absolutely core breaking the remainder of the opponent's team. We get baited with the Rock Slide. However, no bait will be saving this opponent's fate as Excadrill is looking primed to sweep. Turbo invests his final Protect Shield this time, correctly shielding up the superpower. He then goes for a very heads-up play, throwing the Rock Slide in case the opponent gets fancy trying to make that catch. The opponent doesn't make the catch, and they choose to fire off the debuff superpower. That doesn't get the job done. The opponent then goes for the wham, bam combo play, sending out Dragonite, but Dragonclaw doesn't get the job done. We return fire with the Rock Slide. Switch timer is up. We're going to switch out into Poliwrath, counter Farm Down Dragonite, and the opponent is going to concede the match. Very, very well played. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Poliwrath into Garchomp. The last Garchomp did shield up the Icy Wind, but my god, would I like to see how much damage this does. We farm up, throw the Icy Wind. Icy Wind goes unshielded, and holy cow, that did a lot of damage. Of course, it is double super effective. We've got a pathetic CP, and we don't get the same type attack bonus. We then see the Simul swap, pivoting out into Snorlax, and we're greeted with yet another Togekiss. The big thick boy is like an elephant. It does not forget the last Togekiss did knock us out. This time Snorlax out here looking to get its redemption. The opponent fires off the Aerial Ace. We withstand the damage, and Snorlax is going to return fire with the next Body Slam. The opponent invests that protection, look for the full Charm Down, Farm Down, and they get it. But Snorlax has once again gained us a shield advantage in the mid game. This would be a very difficult resisted counter Farm Down. So Turbo opts to send out his third. The opponent again goes straight for the Aerial Ace, which is an easy tank, but then pivot out into Chandelure. This drill run will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We then throw one Mud Shot, defer the Incinerate onto our Poliwrath. This Chandelure is switch locked as the opponent gave up switch. We can easily shield up whatever the opponent throws. This Scald is going to do huge damage. Is Scald enough to knock out? Get that Chandelure out of here. Poliwrath gets its big boom back out. Comes Togekiss. They do get the full Charm Down, Farm Down. Excadrill now just has to double up on charges, and Turbo making a very savage play. Going to throw the Drill Run, which is resisted, into Togekiss, and we're going to throw the resisted Rock Slide into Garchomp and assert dominance. GG's, and thanks for playing. You can already tell after just the first set that Turbo is a very talented battler and very, very fun to shoutcast. We go a nice 4-1, heading into set number 2. Yikes. Mewtwo, again, not what we're looking for. We see the instant pivot into the big thick boy, and we draw out Annihilate. Oof, this looks rough. The opponent throws the Night Slash, fishing for the boost. Luckily, we don't see any boost. We can only hit Annihilate for double resisted on this moveset, but Turbo looking to fake it till he makes it. Baits a potential Earthquake and actually forces a Protect Shield. This gives us some sort of players who gain some sort of advantage in the mid game. We fire off one further double resisted Body Slam, looking to get off as much chip damage as possible. We send out Poliwrath. Annihilate fires off the Shadow Wall, and once again Despite a very low CP, Poliwrath tanks that reasonably well. This is only a Night Slash. Again, Poliwrath withstands the damage, just about reaches the Icy Wind. Icy Wind should be lethal from this range, and Excadrill has to put the team on its back. It actually doesn't quite knock out. So we take one counter, we do get a one mud shot head start. Back out comes Mewtwo. The opponent not even baiting anything other than a side strike with Turbo, recognising we need to keep as much health on Excadrill as possible. The opponent fire off the side strike and then send out the basic bitch tin can. Are you serious? Excadrill fires off the Drill Run, which lands for huge damage. We then fire off Drill Run number 2 after over farming. The opponent invests that final protection, then don't even commit to the Draco. This is only an Iron Head. We see the instant no shield deployed. Turbo knows he's now going to be able to mud shot farm all the way down. Do we have enough health to survive the cycle cuts? Double up on charge moves? I think the answer is yes. The first Drill Run does over half of Mewtwo's remaining HP. We reach Drill Run number 2 and Excadrill sweeps the entire team. GG's and thanks for playing. Absolute incredible energy management there from Turbo, overcoming a hard lost lead and being hard counter on the save switch. In the next battle, we see Poliwrath into Landorous, another Pokemon that takes double super effective from our Ice type coverage. Landorous now a top meta threat due to gaining access recently to Sandsear Storm that does lower the opponent's attack every single time, much like Icy Wind. The opponent then makes a very nice catch, catching the Icy Wind onto Metagross. We then pivot out into Excadrill, fire off the Drill Run before the opponent reaches a potential Earthquake. Drill Run isn't quite lethal, but this is only a Meteor Mash, and we're going to see the instant no shield deployed. Even a Meteor Mash does quite a lot of damage because Excadrill cannot really tank a hit for shit. Back out comes Landorous, we fire off the neutral Rock Slide. Rock Slide forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. The opponent then overfarms perfectly, throwing the Sandsear Storm on the CMP side to the next Rock Slide. We're now going to send back out Poliwrath. We're going to invest the Protect Shield, and we need to be mindful the opponent will have the opportunity to make another catch. Their switch timer will be up. We look to throw the Icy Wind, and holy cow, this opponent playing absolutely beautifully. Catch the Icy Wind onto Dragonite. They're actually ABA double weak to ice. I think something like a Mamoswine would give this opponent nightmares. Once again, big boy Snorlax looking to put the team on its back. We fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam goes unshielded. We now find ourselves in the bait game. We respect the superpower of the opponent bait with the Dragon Claw like an absolute savage. This is now going to mean the opponent is going to fire off a superpower, leaving Snorlax on a sliver of HP. Turbo recognising the game's over and is going to concede the match. Moving on to the next one. Oh, hello, basic bitch Dialga. The opponent probably thinking they're a victim of the algorithm. Save switch into Kyogre and Trainer. That is no Poliwrath response. We farm up, go straight for the Scald. Scald goes unshielded, but Poliwrath very much in the driver's seat. The opponent goes straight for the Surf, probably thinking it's going to be enough to knock out, but Trainer, it certainly is not. Poliwrath withstands the damage, throws one further counter and the next Scald, and Poliwrath has put in so much work. Turbo sends out Snorlax, gets himself a very nice lick farm down, and we're spamming the switch, anticipating Dialga return, and the opponent actually sends out Lugia, and once again, Excadrill is core breaking the remainder of the opponent's team, as the rock type coverage hits Lugia's flying type for super effective, and of course that tin can known as Dialga wants no part of this steel mole. Today's featured battle of Turbo T 612, putting on an absolute clinic on fast move timing, always throwing at very disciplined timing. That's 1, 4 and 7, 2 turn into 3 turn. We force a protection with the rock side. The opponent then attempt to make that catch. Turbo shows great discipline, holds his energy, forces the opponent's final protection with the Drill Run. We're now going to shield up the Iron Head. Turbo can now massively overfarm. We double up on charge moves. One Drill Run will be enough to get this tin can out of here. Back out comes Lugia. We fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide should put this into Body Slam range. We go for that wham bam combo play, and Turbo pulls off another very, very well played game. GG's. Not only is Turbo showcasing his incredible flexes with these Hundo Shadows, he's also showcasing his incredible battle skills, which I've been very impressed with in this video. In the next battle, we see Poliwrath into Groudon. We farm up, look to throw the Icy Wind, losing CMP. Turbo invest the Protect Shield, correctly shielding up the Precipice Blades. When you're using something like Icy Wind that lowers the opponent's attack, it's always good to shield up the first move. However, I doubt Poliwrath, even after lowering Groudon's attack, can survive a Precipice Blades. It is just such a good move. Turbo obviously agrees with me. 2 shielding his lead. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down. Send out Melmetal. This time we go straight for the Scald. Scald, force the Protect Shield, and we get the attack drop. That will mean Poliwrath is going to survive the superpower. The opponent has now lowered their own defense and their attack. So these Thunder Shocks are now doing less. Poliwrath fires off the next Scald. Holy crap, Poliwrath absolutely running through this Master League team. That is something I never thought I'd say. The opponent finally takes us out with a Rock Slide. We send out Excadrill. Excadrill gets the Mud Shot farm down. Back out comes Groudon. Groudon gets Mud Shot farm down. The opponent sends out their final Pokemon, which is Mewtwo. We've got so much energy. We fire off the first Drill Run. We then stay in. The opponent only goes for a Side Strike. Trainer, whatever your second move is, unless it's Thunderbolt, of course. You probably should have went for that. But Turbo certainly won't be complaining. We force the opponent's final protection with the Drill Run. Pivot out into the big thick boy once again. This isn't a Focus Blast. The opponent fire off the Side Strike. Snorlax is going to be able to lick farm down. And we're going to take that game. Heading into the final battle of the video, let's go Poliwrath, picking up a great lead against the Pokemon I normally nickname the bulky blue whale. However, this one is shiny, so I guess I'm just going to call it Kyogre the Ogre. The opponent again goes straight for the Surf. People just disrespecting Poliwrath's bulk. Yes, with Shadow, however, we can withstand some charge moves. We've got pretty decent defense, to be honest. We even force a Protect Shield with the Scald. Poliwrath absolutely going off, able to reach Scald number 2, and this opponent needs to throw. Trainer, you need to throw. Trainer! Holy cow, the opponent commit a Protect Shield and don't even win lead. We get a Simul KO. If you've got a Hundo Poliwrath, it looks like it actually is a viable pick in the Master League. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be good, but it's certainly playable. If Niantic ever give us Master League Premier back, my favourite league, I think that will be somewhere where it'll be very, very good, because there's a lot of Steel types and a lot of these things that are double weak to ice, such as Dragonite and Groudon. Once again, Turbo running rings around his opponent, making the Fire Punch catch, back onto Snorlax. Snorlax now going to be able to get the full lick farm down. Togekiss is going to have to 2v1 our team, and we've got 2 Protect Shields. The opponent pretty much hoping we have a Heart Attack, but Turbo is alive and well, and the opponent, recognising the game's over, are going to concede the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to today's battler, Turbo T612, showcasing Shadow Poliwrath. I'll be honest, I thought it would be nothing more than a third shield, but actually put in quite a lot of work in this video. I think I'd probably put it in fun/spice, nothing more. However, as I said, if we bring back Master League Premier, I think it will certainly have some play there, despite being less than 3000 CP. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below, and as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.